everybody. Welcome back to Stinker, Drinker, Thinker, a podcast with three guys who pour some pours, make some cocktails, and rank them in our own very special, unique way. A ranking system that we have developed, and there's an ongoing myth and rumor out there that it's fabled to be like the best ranking system of all time. Some people think it's bullshit. People just think that we got drunk and made it up. That's the truth. If that's what you guys think, we got drunk and made it up, you're right. But essentially, we'll tell you which one it is. My name is Anthony Longano. I am joined by my favorite Yankee, Troy the Body Viglotti. Say hello, Troy.
Hello, Troy.
And then I am also joined by our good friend, Matt McKibble.
Why, hello there.
Matt, say hello.
Hello.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, little recap. What did we do last week? We drank a lot. My cousin Sean was in from Colorado. If anyone out there is wondering, he got his candy ass kicked in golf.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask how it went.
It went. It was a lot of golf. We played 45 holes on Thursday. Played 2 rounds on Friday, 2 rounds on Saturday. And pretty sure we drank that course drive stuff. I stopped up at Binny's and grabbed a whole bunch of liquor, which is kind of cool. And then we came back, and he missed his flight 2 days in a row.
How did that happen?
My whole family flies for free. They fly standby.
Oh.
So there was never a chance of him getting on a flight to begin with, but we got up at 3:45 Monday morning. I dropped him off at the airport, and I got a text message right when I got to my desk that he was still on the plane on the runway. Apparently the plane broke down.
Oh.
So then he had to come back to my house. And then the next morning we did it again, and that plane got delayed, so he missed his layover in Chicago and didn't get back to Denver until later, or something like that. Or he did get to Denver or something. I don't know.
Wow.
It's a blessing to be involved with that family because I get to fly for free everywhere, but I fucking hate flying. Standby is terrible. I hate it.
Yeah, that seems like very stressful.
Yeah, it is very stressful. Yeah, so a couple house cleaning things. I think this is going to be our first ever episode that goes on YouTube.
Everybody wave the camera.
Yeah, wave to the camera. This is what we look like. We're all overweight, middle-aged men who drink too much.
Middle-aged.
Yeah.
We're just going there.
I mean, what the fuck are we? Are we not middle-aged?
I think we're
early 30s.
1/3 age.
That's middle-aged, isn't it?
No, middle's like...
I mean, everyone in my family dies in
No
their
rush,
60s,
man,
so
no
I only
rush.
got... I'm at
then
50% of my life right now.
Wow.
You know, I'm not doing myself any
That means
favors.
think about everything you've ever drinking so far, double that. That's what you're going to drink in your entire lifetime. You have a lot of go,
I'm going to start a new trend of dying in my 40s then if I if I keep doing that. If I keep doing that, yeah. Well, yeah, we got an interesting one. We're not doing a cocktail tonight. We just, in a couple weeks, we're doing Shaking Cocktail Week with a special guest on here. If you haven't listened to our Stirred Cocktail Week, we did that pretty early on of doing this. I think we're on episode 36 or 37 now or something.
This will be 33, 34, 33.
We probably did that on episode 6 or 7. So it's been a while, but it's summertime. Shaking whiskey cocktails kind of flow with the summer. So taking a little break from cocktails now, and we're just going to get into some drinking. So it's been a whole lot of buzz about this Jack Daniels, these 2 new Jack Daniels releases, the Bonded and the Triple Mash. We were able to find some bottles of it, so I think we're going to pour them in some cups and let you know what we think about them.
Yeah, and this is something you can find pretty much everywhere. These will be shelf staples, or they'll be essentially they're permanent additions to the Jack Daniel line. So I know there's a rush on them right now, but once the rush is over, you can go to the store and you can find them regularly.
They're like $33.
Yeah,
$33. I found this one in Fort Wayne and then the other one up in Wisconsin. And my Uncle Billy said he hated Jack Daniels, and I just so happened to have 22 bottles of whiskey with me. So, and one of them was that triple mash. So I poured it for him blindly. He had no idea. I poured it 25 minutes later, and he seemed to like it very much. So now he likes Jack Daniels.
That was a triple mash?
That was a triple mash. It was not traditional Jack Daniels, but this stuff's getting a lot of crazy reviews. I read an article on Google. I opened Google the other day that said Jack Daniels creates new whiskey for the first time in however many years, and it's the best whiskey they've ever made.
Yeah, we know that's not true, and second of all,
it's Google.
Not true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you haven't tried it yet, Matt.
No. I'm saying that's not the first whiskey. They didn't. Whatever. We'll go there. They didn't create a new whiskey. They just aged it longer. I guess we'll get into it, but maybe triple mash technically is a new whiskey. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, what are they? This one's a bonded, so we'll start. I guess we'll
So
start
they're
with the
both-
bonded, right?
Right. Yeah, you want to start there?
Yeah, let's start
They're
with the
both
bonded.
100 proof, so.
So this is the old number 7 recipe, just bought on the bond.
Right. So literally it's the same whiskey, same recipe that everyone knows and loves and probably drank too much of at one point in their life.
Yeah.
And it is just
100 proof.
100 proof, 4 years old at least, in a federally bonded warehouse during one distilling season with one distillery, essentially.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
It's just in theory, just a better version of number 7. So.
Troy, you getting the cold sweats over there looking at that?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Right up my alley. What could be better than the Jack that I know and love, but just 10% stronger
And older.
and older?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems to be perfect.
Down in Lynchburg, Tennessee. That's an interesting little area because Lynchburg is pretty small for the county that it's in. What county was it again? Do we forget?
Moore County.
Moore County, which is a dry county. So, and like you got to, and if you look at Lynchburg, it's like an old Western town. It's kind of interesting, like tourist town now because of Jack. But like I think Jack's the most modern thing there. You got to imagine they don't even have like a liquor store. You probably can't even get beer. There's literally all you can do if you want liquor around there is go down to the Jack Daniel's gift shop.
Yeah, they just can now have they have to sell them as like giveaways or gifts or something. They have to be a part of something else. They can't just sell the whiskey. I think
Really?
it's some weird rule. I think they actually changed it recently. I thought I was reading that they can now do small samples or something like that. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of legality there. So
I just find it so interesting. This isn't like an internationally world recognized whiskey, and it's from an extremely small town in Tennessee that's fucking dry.
They give us all the good stuff.
That's
they don't keep
fine.
it for themselves. So.
All right, that's fine.
It's a nice thing, right? Troy, how's that sound though? That's the most important part of the bottle. All right.
I'm okay with that.
I'd say that's just whiskey right there.
The bottle's smaller?
Oh yeah, it is 700.
700 mils.
Mils.
Yeah. I noticed that.
So normal bottle 750. These are all 700. I believe they said so they could send to the international market, which are all 700 standard, without having to redo the entire bottle design and all that stuff. There's a glass shortage. I think we're actually coming out the other side of that right now. But that was one of the big reasons why they changed the bottle size. So
Shortage on just about.
yeah, I was just saying it's not surprising, unfortunately.
My mom texted me the other day and said that there was a cork shortage, and asked if she should start saving her corks to donate to Troy's winery, which was kind of sweet.
That's very sweet, actually.
But Troy, can you reuse corks like
the
that?
sentiment is not to my knowledge.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like once you pop them,
You don't stop.
Especially if you're putting if you're putting corkscrew through it, it's like, all right, well, what am I
Right,
going to do
right,
now?
right, yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So
I mean, I guess you could like constitute it somehow, like
not melt it down, but like
I don't know. Yeah, I that's beyond.
I'm just or maybe composite. Well,
Yeah,
all right.
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well,
What do we got? What do we got in the glass? It's amazing what a little age and a little more proof will do to a smell of a very familiar whiskey.
it is definitely a little more ethanol-y. There's more. I mean, I haven't had number 7 since we did the last episode about it, but I feel like there's more wood impact. Like there's more barrel, more oak. It smells very familiar.
Guys, while we're sniffing along here, we did a whole Jack Daniel's week where we did a whole bunch of limited release Jack Daniels and number 7. You can check that out. That was a couple months back, but if you want some history on the distillery and things like that, I know we're kind of chugging along here. Literally, this is going to be gone in 30 fucking seconds. This is fucking fantastic. Did anyone else taste it?
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's it almost feels a little tight. Is that weird? Like it almost like makes my tongue a little tight.
Think about that. Is that just like the mellow thing?
I don't know.
For the Tennessee mellow?
I don't really know. It has that almost like
The charcoal finish?
feels almost constricting on my tongue. I don't. It's a weird description.
I get what you're saying. I get that sensation.
I don't know what it
feeling.
is. Yeah.
To me, it's that same kind of ashy, mellow finish that Jack is known for, but maybe just a little bit more burn with it because it's a little hotter than you're expecting.
Yeah.
I think it's very full body. I don't think it's tight at all.
Getting that nice caramelized banana.
Get a lot of nut.
And caramel corn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get more like banana peel than I do banana.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. It's just more like
Like recently
subtle.
stepped on?
Yeah, it's more a little more subtle than like a ripe banana. You know what I mean? It's kind of more that like essence of banana. Like a banana, not a banana runt, but
I'm getting like this is weird. It's like caramel. You can't do this.
go for it.
Caramel roasted pine nuts. Like, and when I say roasted, I'm talking about like smoke roasted, like not like smoky, but like over an open fire.
So it's Christmas time.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of what's coming.
I like it.
As the resident number 7 specialist, Troy Bellotti.
I got to say it didn't strike me or like slap me in the face with number 7 until it hit like the mid palate, and then I was like, oh, okay, like I can rest easy now. But yeah, like I kind of agree with what you were saying about the nose, a little bit more just woodsy, and you can maybe pick up on a little bit more of the age and just complexity. It is, when you say tight, I think of tight in like a little bit of a restrained sort of way. So like maybe this will evolve quite a bit if we let it sit here.
It might. I'm gonna leave a little bit here.
Yeah.
It almost
I
like
failed at that. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
pouring
about
more
to
in
fail.
right
You're
now.
fine.
Yeah.
It sounds like the back of my tongue. It just feels like it's like almost pulling on it a little bit. It's just that weird like sensation.
Yeah,
I like it. It's
I definitely like it.
different.
Yeah.
You get a little like cherry type of thing at all?
Cherry cola,
Yeah.
It's possible.
like fake cherry, like cherry syrup.
Correct. Yeah. Like the shitty
Yeah.
ice cream cherries. You know?
The best cherries in the
No,
world.
they're not. They're the worst. Worst cherries.
I was convinced I didn't like cherries because those are the only cherries I knew for a long time, and I did not like them at all. And so like I thought that was cherry. And so anytime everyone's like, "Oh, you want some cherries?" I'm like, "No, fuck, that sounds disgusting."
Yeah.
And then I had real cherries, like fresh cherries for the first time. I'm like, "Oh, these are really fucking good."
Yeah.
And then we dove into like the cherry sitting in delicious, like bourbon syrup and stuff. And then I'm like,
yeah.
"All right, well, this is next level." But
Amaretto and all that shit. Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Well, fuck these other 2 bottles. Why don't we just sit here and slug this, man? I don't know.
just story time. Let's just.
This is a drinker. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. This is a drinker.
I mean, if you like number 7, and you want something a little more interesting, a little bit more expensive.
I mean, I don't really get a lot of the classic number 7 here that much, man.
Well, I think there's only thing. Do you have a bottle of number 7?
I think I do upstairs.
You might want to grab one. I think it might be interesting at some point.
Maybe when I drink myself to sleep on my couch later, I'll just like put pour spouts on both and, go
The helmet is coming back, huh?
Another dream whiskey helmet
the return
scenario.
Of the helmet.
Yeah. By the way, a guy from Canada reached out to us, and after listening to the Clyde Mays episode, and was like, "Dude, I'm looking all over the place for fucking Clyde Mays here," and I was about to offer to send him samples. Then I was like, "Can't do that. He's in fucking Canada."
Right.
And then he's like, "By the way, I fucking love your podcast. I'm listening to it every day. I found it through work," and I was like, "Through work?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm the Michter's distributor in Canada." And I was like, "That's fucking awesome."
Okay.
That's fucking great.
Wow,
He ended up finding some out on the western side of Canada. I think he said he was getting shipped in type of thing. But
Well, I just want to say, I look at the camera and say, thank you.
thank you. If you want to be closer friends, my good Canadian friend, please let me know. I've known to slug a, gallon or 5 of Michter's. Me and Sean got up to that condo the other night. We drank a whole bottle of Michter's bourbon. It's bad.
Jeebus.
I don't usually binge drink
I
whiskey.
was going Canadian. I was going I saw the 43-year-old Canadian club again. I was just like, I just have to know.
Did you buy it?
No, it's like $350.
That's so fucking dumb.
I mean, if you average, I think the people say like $10 a year is like what you expect to pay, just like what it typically is.
$10 a year, huh?
Yeah, it's usually in that. Well, yeah, I was reading because, oh boy, I don't know if you saw some new Jim Beam products that came out, but
no.
Yum, yum, yum.
We can talk about this later, but you know what? Fuck it. They came out with two new
There you
products,
go.
And I did, it was a small article I read, and I'm sure I'm getting a lot wrong as usual, but we're always right in this podcast. So they came out with two new products under a different name. It's something River, about some historical thing, whatever. So they came out with two products. One that's $150, 15 and 16 year like blend, which okay, like that's kind of what you expect in this market. Like that's bad. Then came out with the lower tier, which is $80. Guess how old it is?
4
I guess
4 years.
Nope.
2 years.
2 years.
Oh wow.
They came out with a 2-year product that is $80.
What?
Yeah.
What does it have, like unicorn jizz in it?
Nope.
To make you younger?
It's just 2-year
Like, what
old
the
Jim
fuck
Beam.
is it? What?
$80, baby.
What the fuck is wrong with them?
I don't know, but it's there's a lot of criticism on the internet about it. I thought it was kind of funny. So
Yeah, that's
There you
kind of.
go.
I guess that's kind of
yeah,
funny. I
so
don't.
that's why I'm thinking like 43-year-old Canadian Club.
Oh man.
Steep price, but that's probably worth it.
I mean, there's a bottle over there. This is even worse. I don't even know what it's called. It's the Artisan series. It's bourbon finished in maple casks, or maple syrup casks, and I spent way too much money on that, and I think it's like a $3.75.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, there is, I was watching about like the breakdown of how much like things cost, like right. So if there's $1 of actual cost, in manufacturing or producing whiskey, whatever, how much actually translates to for the end buyer, because the 3-tier system kind of fucks everyone essentially,
right.
Because everyone takes their 20 to 40% margin on top of all the production costs and everything. So, and then if you're a craft distillery, you can't sell direct, so you have to sell through that system. So there's a whole craziness of how that all works. But yeah, I mean, there's essentially
Jim Beam is not a craft distillery.
Well, that was the whole point,
and
right?
you have no fucking business charging $80 for your 2-year-old fucking shitty whiskey, Jim.
that was
you fucking cocksucker. Anyway,
that was the whole point, though. They're like, cool. So, like, I understand if there's a craft startup distillery, and they have to like pay all the startup costs, they have to make a profit. Like, man, you know what? Like, there's some understanding. Like, if it's $60-$80, like you're paying the craft tax, right? But for Jim Beam, who is a staple, like what
legacy level,
right?
Like that's dumb.
They're just trying to jump. I'm assuming, and I don't know, but I'm just assuming that they're trying to jump on the whole, well, we can charge more because people want to buy it.
Yeah.
And we got the special name on it.
This is a great time for the disclaimer because you're probably wrong about all this.
Yep.
On this podcast, we speak in absolutes 100% of the time. We are wrong 80% of the time, all of the fucking time. If you're new here, that's the facts of it.
Yep.
Speaking of facts, what's your ranking, Troy?
Ooh, I didn't even think about it.
I just got marshmallow.
See, told you.
Just smell that.
That tastes more like the number 7. Troy, for the last 6 years in a row, has dressed up like Jack Daniels for Christmas every year. Sorry, for Halloween every year.
I am Jack. Who are you? Are you Jesus? No, I'm Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Call me Jasper. Yeah. We'll get to the Jasper part of it in a little while. But anyway, what do you think, Troy?
I'm going to go drinker, thinker.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I could see that.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to get to the thinker level for me because it's fucking Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
And it's $30 and it's sluggable, right? But I can definitely think about it.
Yeah. I'm just getting full marshmallow, like hard right now.
You let it. I re-poured this. So
yeah. Maybe I'm totally crazy, and I probably am, but
I'll let it sit. I'll let it sit until we're done the triple mash.
just the outside skin of a marshmallow. Oh man. Anyway,
The elevated proof just makes me ponder. Slightly more.
I think I'm still going drinker. I do think that it is, especially for the value. I mean, for value, it's amazing.
You all know Matt's all about values.
All about the values. When you gotta spend the bucks, pinch the pennies. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's absolutely worth $30, and I think it's a drinker, and I'm happy that it exists.
Me too.
I'll call it drinker thinker, and I think honestly, it's probably one of the best $30 bottles I've ever tasted.
Yeah,
think that's fair.
I'm in.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Troy, once you start seeing this, is this going to be shelf staple for you?
It's going to be a shelf staple.
Is
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
The question is
It's
it going to
staple
replace
and shelf
number?
stable?
Is it going to replace number 7 on your bar or not? That's kind of my question.
Probably, to be honest, because for me, like, you'll soon find out because I wrote a little bit about this. Like my sweet spot for things I'm sipping on is probably between 90 and 100 proof, just because I feel like it brings out more nuance and complexity of the spirit. And I lose a little bit of that in regular old number 7, as I am a part of this podcast, and we taste such incredibly high quality whiskeys, none of which are 80 proof.
Maybe someday.
0.
No, we had something on here that was 80
Did you
proof.
ever do a Basil Hayden's or anything?
I got that subtle smoke
Hey, there
stuff
you
the
go.
other day. I actually heard it's pretty good.
And not to knock it or anybody who just exclusively drinks whiskeys that are 80 proof, but yeah, I mean, if this is giving me the same sort of vibes and aromas and flavors, which it is, then yeah, fuck it, why not? And probably stand up better in cocktails.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably kick a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said it's not only a shelf staple, but it's going to be shelf stable.
Yeah.
Troy,
Sorry.
how long would a bottle of this last in your possession?
Well, it won't go bad.
Yeah.
You said Basil Hayden's. That reminded me. Basil Hayden's a Jim Beam product.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it fucking is.
It's like $50.
Jim.
80 proof.
Which one?
Basil Hayden's
No,
regular.
Basil Hayden's
Shouldn't be
regular
50.
is $34.
Well,
The dark rye
I wouldn't
went
say
up.
that's universal.
I think it's $40 to $50.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen it at 40. or
Yeah.
20
Okay,
places.
and then
yeah.
the
Anyway.
dark rye came out. It was the same price, but then they jumped the dark rye up for during the
So-
pandemic. They put the dark rye up to $56 fucking dollars a
So here's
bottle,
my question.
and then it went back down.
It's 80 proof, and it's probably, a couple years old, probably? I forget how old it is. I don't
It's
know.
finished.
But it's $30-something dollars.
Basil?
This new
In what?
Important.
this new Jim Beam product is $80 for less years, and I think it's 108 proof. I don't know, I'm just on this.
I read an article that Jim Beam invented Basil Hayden's to make women like whiskey.
That would make sense. It's
Huh.
80 proof, lower
Yeah.
proof, easier entry.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we should try the subtle smoke on this podcast.
Okay.
Essentially,
see.
it's Basil Hayden's. It's still Basil Hayden's. But what they do is they slowly pump smoke into the barrel, just let it slowly go into the barrel while they're aging it. And actually, it's like the final finish for a couple weeks. They do it or something like that. And apparently, it is really subtle, but it's getting pretty good.
For Basil Hayden's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm willing to try anything once.
Speaking of trying, let's have a little cracker break.
Want to do cracker break?
Yeah, we'll move on to the
Cracker
mash.
Welcome back for cracker break. The cracker break is brought to you by Meatloaf. He would do anything for love, but he won't do that.
Well done.
Do you guys see how he's the only one laughing at his stupid fucking cracker breaks? Now they can see you, Matt.
Yeah, no, it's great.
All right. What is the triple mash? This one's getting raved about, man.
I have no idea. What is a triple mash, Anthony?
Well, I think it's a blend
Yep.
of 3 different whiskeys.
That's
according to them. They are taking 3 different mash bills and mashing them together.
That is
That's
the
the word.
triple mash.
Thus the word triple, thus the word mash.
It is a 3-component whiskey blend. It is 60% Jack Daniel's Tennessee Rye, 20% Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, and 20% Jack Daniel's American Malt.
Do they actually make an American malt product?
Well, they have a lot of barley, right? So
Do they have a single malt?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
But I mean, the standard Jack Daniel's is 12% malted barley. So
Yeah.
I mean, they know what they're doing with barley.
Pop it.
Pop it,
Pop
lock it,
Pop it.
drop it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Thought they were going to be the same, but
I'm not sure because that one had more empty space, but
I don't know. That just reminded me of like the Cisco thong song. Just like a big ass badonkadonk. Yep. Just a big old
that pom 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 pom. If we can edit that to just do end it and just do it in the video and just go pong pong pong, we can just make that a clip. Just go that pong 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 pong. I'm into it.
Troy, do you have a long day today, Troy?
not at all.
You're pouring pretty fucking stiff, bud.
Yeah, I know. For you.
I'm about to take your sommelier powers away. Sommelier.
It was on purpose.
Oh, okay. That was the question.
Yeah, he knows. That's a sommelier.
Sommelier.
Well,
Also, bottled and bond.
also bottle mountain.
I'm not a big fan of Jack Daniel's rye
Why not?
because it doesn't taste good.
Anything specifically, or just?
I don't know. Remember when we did the single barrel rye on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wasn't a fan of it.
Okay. You don't have to be.
Yeah. So 60% of
60% rye, 20% whiskey, 20% single malt or American malt. What they call it. So 60.
So it's a high rye mash too, huh?
Yeah, I mean it's all rye, mostly 60% rye. Baby,
It's all right.
100% rye, 60% of the time.
all rye with me. Hey!
Good God.
Well, no. So in the breakdown, if you want to get really nuanced into this, I'll have to refer to my phone here. So 60%, that 60% Tennessee rye is 70% rye, 18% corn, 12% malted barley.
Okay.
Their whiskey is 80% corn, 12% rye, 8% malted barley, and their American malt is essentially a single malt. It's 100% malted barley. So
I see.
we'd have to do the math here and figure out what's what, but yeah.
I mean, you can get a little bit of that rye on the nose, for sure.
I was getting a little like cinnamon, a little bit.
Cinnamon?
Cinnamon.
I'm not really getting. I'm getting more of like a
like apple cinnamon,
I can maybe get some like a crisp fruit apple, citrus,
crisp red apple.
Macadamia nut for some reason.
Okay.
Too kind of like rounds it out at the bottom. Tastes squirrely.
Squirrely Dan.
Yeah,
I got a little hint of Squirrely Dan.
It smells squirrely. Like I don't know why the word squirrely is not a tasting note or a smelling note.
It could be now. Anything
it's
is.
just a fucking word.
If it's how you interpret the whiskey, I mean, fuck it. Who am I to say?
It's definitely. Oh man, definitely rye forward. But you get a lot of that. I definitely get some barley in there too. It's got like a little chocolate bottom to it.
It is spicy and juicy at the same time.
Yep, and that juiciness comes from that sweet kind of dark chocolate, like a sweeter dark chocolate at the bottom. But obviously the rye and the citrus and the crispiness, that's like kind of popping it right out of me. It's a little hot.
You know what I don't know if you've done this, Troy. We kind of mentioned, you did like the splash test on your hand and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do I haven't tried this yet, but I was watching someone do it. If you do like a dime-sized amount in your palms and you smack it long enough for all the alcohol evaporates.
Remember on the Neat documentary,
Yeah.
the head tour guy at Buffalo Trace does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a thing. I've never done it. I was just kind of contemplating.
You haven't
it.
yet?
No. Just contemplating it.
Well, you're on camera.
Let's pop the cherry.
Go ahead. Me and Troy were sitting there doing that with that guy.
Really?
Yeah, we had a bottle of Buffalo Trace. We were watching the Neat documentary, and we were
Grab a little.
smacking our fucking hands together.
They said a dime size.
Just like a bunch of drunk idiots.
You want to do it all together for the gram?
For the gram. Yeah, sure. For YouTube.
Dime size. Well, that's more than a dime. Oh God!
It's because the psalm.
I took too much.
It's because the psalm wasn't pouring.
I took too much. Hey
The
guys,
way the Psalm's pouring a night, you would have poured half a fucking bottle on his lap.
That's all right.
this is just in the microphone. I like this.
Oh, you're not going to bitch about it?
No, because this is part of the content.
All right, it's in there.
You got to rub.
It's in there. It's hot. I'm going to set my hands on fire.
Ooh.
Popcorn.
Yeah, popcorn and shoe polish. And like,
Ooh, shoe polish.
yeah. Ooh. Almost like
salted popcorn. And then nuts, man. I'm telling you, nuts.
I got some nutsies. Almost okay. Imagine like
salted macadamia nuts.
but in a popcorn. Like you're like hey, you have like a nut mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I get your mixed nuts?
Yeah, trail mix.
Well, thank you for indulging me in this journey.
You're quite welcome.
I think it's very
Now
interesting.
my hands feel like I ate a bunch of popcorn too. They're like fucking greasy. What do we think of the whiskey, Troy? What do you think it tastes like?
What do I think it tastes like? What do I think it tastes like? I think it is. It's a little bit brighter and more citrus forward than than the bonded for sure. I mean, I'm looking right at the bonded bottle, and I see it says caramel, rich oak, and spice. And just to cheat a little, I'm going to look at the triple mash. Honey, malt,
Yeah.
and soft oak. Soft. Like a baby's bottom.
And that's probably, we always talk about, or Anthony always talks about the mellowing. That's kind of where that comes from.
Yeah, but I think overall,
finish.
overall, just brighter.
It's
I like it. And it doesn't jump out to me as like traditional Jack, but I think it's got a little sophistication to it, I suppose.
So this is more interesting to me. There's a lot more to dissect. There's a lot more going on. I think it's because it's a blend, right? I mean, it's kind of naturally going to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I actually do really like it.
I think it's more thinker territory.
Yeah.
Like where that one for me was a drinker hinting a thinker. This is much more the thinker category for me.
I think I'm still going to give it the same ranking though, even though I would. I don't know. They're definitely very different, and I would drink the bonded very differently.
Oh, 100%.
But I still, at the end of the day,
You mean like abuse?
borderline.
Here on Stinker Drinker Thinker, we do not abuse alcohol. Thank you very much.
But
We
when the
respect-
cameras are turned
We
off.
respect the pours.
But I would definitely drink this one too.
Go back to the bonded real quick.
Yeah, that's what I should. Be
And
doing.
like the tasting notes that you said, without even thinking about it, that's like so caramel forward.
Oh, but I get a lot more hay, like a lot more dusty. Dusty hay. Like I'm in a barn.
The triple mash is so bright and ride forward.
Yeah, it's drier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like trying to think. I don't know, like pancakes with no maple syrup.
That
the
type of
triple
texture.
mash.
It's like kind of hard to
flour
swallow.
Versus,
Yeah.
versus the bonded is like pancakes with.
Doused in. It's like syrup
Yeah.
with pancakes.
Yeah. A little molassesy.
I think this triple mash is just a drinker to me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect that a lot.
I almost thought at one point, and I probably just was overshooting, but I almost thought Thinker Stinker at one point. But I don't think it deserves the Stinker tag. I think it's good enough.
I think it's drinkable.
Yeah.
Which one do we like better?
I also wonder what would happen. Sorry.
No, you're good.
If in retrospect, in hindsight, I think maybe we I don't know. I feel like it makes sense to start with the triple mash.
Really? Start with rye?
I don't know why. I maybe when I don't know. I'm kind of torn. It's just I think that the bonded is richer, and I think that this is a little bit prettier and lighter. So
I think that's fair. I mean, at least I'm thinking what LC said way back when. Like whatever you do, always end with rye.
Yeah, and ordinarily, I would agree, and I probably still kind of agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate with
No,
myself.
I think it's great.
But
Drinker thinker for you?
I'm going drinker thinker. Yeah,
You're going just drinker, Matt?
I think I'm
No, he's
going.
thinker.
I think I'm going Thinker. I mean, it's drinkable for sure. I don't think it's stinkable necessarily. I think it's thinkable. It's not like oh my god, I'm gonna like love this, but it provokes enough thought where I think it bridges a threshold of being a thinker. I don't like enough to give it a thinker drinker.
For me, like a thinker has to be like every time I take a sip of this, it tastes different, or I smell something different, or I get something different.
Yeah.
I'm not getting that. So it's just a drinker to me. Big question is, which one do I like better? Which one do we like better? Which one's the better buy?
If you want Jack Daniels, in my opinion, if you want Jack Daniels, get the bonded.
Yeah.
If you want something a little bit different than Jack Daniels, get the triple mash. That'd be my personal opinion.
Bonded is like my comfort whiskey. You know, it's like
The bonded tastes better.
bonfire blanket.
Yep.
Just like snuggling it.
Yeah. If you come on home, you want spaghetti and meatballs, or if you want, go out and get some sushi or something, they're totally different things.
Right.
All right. Well, shall we?
Yeah.
To the cracker break?
To the cracker break.
To the cracker break. Cracker break.
No fucking cracker break. Let's drink. So,
Love it.
what do we got on deck here? Uncle Nearest 1884 small batch whiskey. This is the first time I've ever seen this in stores, so I grabbed it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of different variants of it, like red labels and various things, but
yeah, so Uncle Nearest was essentially back in whatever year Jack Daniels was founded, down in Lynchburg, Tennessee. There was a reverend who had a slave, and that slave ended up distilling whiskey. And we talked about this a little bit on the Jack Daniels week that we did. And a kid from the neighborhood, I think, came and started working at that farm where the distillery was kind of up the road of the property. His name was Jasper Daniels, and he begged the master to free Uncle Nearest, and he's called Uncle Nearest affectionately. I think it was and you never fucking know, it's still slavery. So I think it was a good relationship type of slavery compared to some of the other stories you hear about. But Nathan Green was referred to as Uncle Nearest. So Jasper begged the Reverend to make him a free man, essentially, and he did. And essentially, when Nathan retired, Jasper bought the distillery and wanted to call it his name, but didn't want it to be Jasper, so he changed it to Jack Daniels. That's where Jack Daniels started. And then, Nathan retired. And a few years ago, a black woman named Fawn Weaver wanted to bring this back to life and get the history going there. And I was just reading on the back of this bottle, and I think this is fucking sick. So, obviously, Nathan was the first known African-American master distiller. Each small batch is curated by his great-great-granddaughter. Whiskey Magazine's 2021 Master Blender of the Year, Victoria Edie Butler, which is kind of sick. And using the same exact process that he used, which is a maple charcoal mellowing filtering process.
Interesting.
So Jack Daniels, what they do is they take their old barrels and they make charcoal out of them and they filter over that, so kind of sustainable. But this one's maple charcoal, which is interesting.
Very interesting.
Kind of curious to see how it is. I can't imagine this is gonna suck. Can't imagine this is gonna suck. So, this is 93 proof. So the sweet spot.
How much does it cost?
I don't think this bottle was much.
Okay.
I opened my phone to look at the article, and it said 2.1 million, and I was like, "Oh wow!" No wonder my bill was so high at Benny's. Wonder how much it tastes like Jasper Daniels.
That's a good question. It's I'm not quite astringent, but it's a weird, like, sharp note. It's almost fruity and woody at the same time.
I get a little bit more like of a savory kind of spice thing going on too.
It almost smells hotter than the bond. What is that? It just smells sharp. I don't quite know how to.
It says it's 7 years old. It's at least 7 years old. American oak.
Man, going back to the triple mash is doughy. Like, it tastes like a raw cinnamon dough, like a raw cinnamon roll.
The only part of the mash bill that they give, so it's 7 years old. and it's 51% of the bill is corn.
It's barely legal whiskey then, or I guess not bourbon, because it's Tennessee, so they wouldn't call it bourbon anyway.
It's Tennessee bourbon.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going on the whole Jack Daniel's heritage kind of thing,
Yeah, I get
they're
like a,
they're big into not calling it bourbon. So
I get like a dusty kind of like creamy custard, banana custard.
it's like a custard with like some sort of spice, like clove, like just jammed in or something.
Yeah.
I'm finally getting accustomed to the spice. It's been like 10 smells, but I can finally go a little bit deeper.
Troy gave a nod there. I'm just gonna let Troy speak first.
Well, I still haven't tasted it yet.
Oh,
I actually think it's not very expressive on the nose. I definitely don't get any. I wish I got like banana custard. That sounds fucking amazing.
It took a
I
while
got-
to get there.
I get a little bit of wood and some savory spice. Nothing overly rich or caramely. And I get alcohol. That's about it. Fruit, I mean, maybe a little dried fruit, but subtle.
the custard thing is right there for me.
I looking at it, it is vanilla custard and something porridgey.
I think it's really thin on the palate, but it finishes with like this brown butter thing that I really like. It's a little hot on the mid palate.
Yeah, but it's it finishes much sweeter than I would have thought.
Yeah, just like a honey brown butter. It's so custardy.
It's like I still get a little bit of apple.
I don't get anything that bright. I think everything's a little bit.
It's like a charred apple, like a All right, take an apple, cut into a little bit, get a little cross section, throw it on a grill, get a little char, grilled apple, maybe a little cinnamon on top. Cut it up, put a custard over it, a little clove, nutmeg. Hey, Bob's your uncle.
I'm a fan of the palate. The nose is fine. Pretty smooth, no bite. I mean, I don't think the mid palate's very harsh at all. Finish is sweet. More vanilla on the palate than I get on the nose. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think it's very fine. I don't think someone who doesn't like whiskey or like is not a first time whiskey drinkers whiskey.
Sure.
I don't think if you're looking to sit down and think about something, I don't necessarily think that's the whiskey for you, but yeah,
I think it's a stinker.
I don't think it's a stinker, but
Why?
I don't know.
Your tasting notes make it seem like you like it.
I mean, I like the palate. Oh, I'm sorry. I like the nose, and the finish is good, but like really, once it gets in there, there's like a 2-second thing where it's just like, really don't like that.
I like the palate more than the nose, personally.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm just going drinker.
I mean, it's gone.
Same.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I'll
See,
I'll
so
I'll
what
change
happens when I
to
pour later.
stinker drinker.
Okay. From the man who said this couldn't possibly suck.
Yeah,
to,
right?
Well, at least I'm
I know. That's why I like it.
At least
That's
I'm
why we do
honest.
this.
At least I'm fucking honest.
Yep.
Yeah, I could fucking slug this all day, but it's not great. Like it's not like
I think it's
that's
fine.
a drinker.
Yeah.
You know, it's
No, but I mean, there's obviously levels, and it's a broad category. But I would go more on I think it's drinker.
Yeah.
Pretty generic drinker. Not very approachable for a lot of people, but once you get into it, I think it's good. It did take a while for me to like enjoy it. I had to really dig into it, but once I got there, I think I liked it.
I absolutely just love the story of it too, and the tradition and the generations, all that shit, man. I fucking love it. Absolutely love it. Now to go back and finish these other ones.
Troy, what do you think?
I think it's a drinker as well.
Drinker. Okay.
Yeah. Nothing is forcing me to go super in depth into it. So
Yeah, I'm surprised how, and I know we disagree a little bit on the notes and stuff, but I'm surprised how once I got into it, how clear the notes to me became. It doesn't really happen very often. You just have to kind of like really fight for it. But once I got there, it was pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, going back to the triple mash. I'm thinking raw dough. Raw cinnamon dough, like
It is very doughy.
raisin cinnamon bread, but raw dough.
See this? Oh, so dude, before when you said cinnamon, I got nothing. This literally smells like fucking cinnamon raisin bread.
Yep.
But not cooked yet.
That's raw cinnamon raisin dough.
I'm in. I like it. Yeah. Now these noses are just far more complex than Uncle Nearest.
Even the bonded is still more interesting, and it's still more.
agree.
It's simpler, but it's still more
Yeah,
interesting.
I agree. Yeah. Just bolder overall.
I almost got like an old fashioned, like going back to the Nearest. It's interesting. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's good, not great. I'm going. I think I'm going bonded triple mash Nearest. If I had to rank them arbitrarily for no reason.
Bonded triple mash Nearest.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
In
I
the
would-
order
I think
we
I would-
tasted.
I would agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are no arbitrary for absolute arbitrary reasons with no repercussions, but yeah.
I'm kind of getting like a Sazerac now at the bottom.
It tastes like a cocktail.
Yeah, it does kind of smell like a cocktail.
It's weird. But anyway,
All right. Well, yeah, that was fun. I'm glad we got to try those.
good offerings. I understand what some of the hype is about on the Jack Daniel's stuff.
Especially
For $30.
the affordability of it's amazing.
Yeah. I think that is going to be, especially since it's a mainstay now in the product line, I think that's great additions. I think if you like Jack Daniels, you should be happy because there's more stuff you can drink and they're going to like.
I have
Yeah.
2 questions for you.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to start an argument, but like
Surely.
legit 2 questions.
You certainly can.
Let's take the price tag out of this.
Mhm.
Would you drink, if you had an opportunity to drink Jack Daniels,
Number 7 or one of these?
Bonded,
Okay.
or Blue Run? Let's do the high rye.
I'd have to do them side by side. It depends.
If you had,
That's a mood dependent thing for me. Because if I wanted something that I'm gonna go do on a warmer day, or something that I just kind of wanted to
let me
to sip
rephrase.
on.
Let me rephrase the question. Sorry, not like if you had them on your shelf and if you were in a store,
Mhm.
there was no price tags in the store. You can pick one bottle. Would you? And there was only 2 bottles. It was Bonded and Blue Run.
If I'm looking at the bottles, I'm buying the Blue Run because that's the best bottle. One of the best bottles on the shelf. But if I knowing their profile and was going to pick one, it'd be more situational. Which one I pick?
Price is still not.
No, because if I wanted a more creamy caramel, easy sipper, I'd go for the Jack. If I want something a little more complex, going to challenge me a little bit more, I'd probably go for the Blue Run, especially the high rye one, specifically.
Okay. Now, if you knew the price tags,
Mhm.
and you can only buy 2 bottles, and you had Uncle Nearest and Blue Run, which one would you pick?
Blue Run.
So it seems like both times you're in the store, you're picking Blue Run.
No, I'm picking Jack Daniels.
No. You said you're gonna pick.
He took the price out of the first one. Anyway, doesn't matter. I would buy 3 bottles of Jack Daniels Bonded before I bought a bottle of Blue Run. There you go. That's the end of the story.
Oh man, that's so dumb.
'Cause that's 3 times the whiskey, baby.
You don't
Yeah,
drink.
for the biggest drinker here.
Yeah, you don't fucking drink it.
I am the drinker of this group. I don't think you understand.
Oh no.
I did think about this the other day, and I don't want to make this official, but we might as well go here if we're going to go here. I was thinking, like, someone asked me, because I think it was my brother or something. He's like, so which one of the group are you? It's like, fuck, I didn't think about this. I was like, well, I'm not the thinker. That's probably Troy. I'm certainly not the drinker. Probably Anthony. I think by default, it makes me the stinker.
Me and Sean were talking about this in the car. Right
And I was
home the
like,
other day.
well, all right. I think that's just my place here. I think I came to that realization the other day. I'm like, man.
The argument that I have with myself is which one am I? Am I either the drinker or the thinker? And Troy would like to label himself as the thinker.
I actually haven't even opened my mouth.
Yeah, but I
Troy's never talked before. I think Troy is by default the thinker. I mean,
It's
just
got to be unanimous.
yeah, I don't know.
what do you think?
I don't think Anthony will ever admit.
Do you want to be the drinker and the thinker, and Troy can just be?
No.
We both be thinkers together.
Well, so I don't want to start a fight right now. We're not doing this. Yeah, I really don't
All
wanna
right,
do this.
moving on.
We're already feisty and fucking on allergy drugs. Troy's a very smart, well-spoken man.
Mhm.
No, I just want to close this out with this.
Okay. You're just saying facts now.
No, he's a very smart and well-spoken man. But literally all I fucking do all day long, like keeps me up at night, is I think constantly about everything. I overplan everything. I think about every fucking possible situation.
Sure.
I think about this podcast. I think about my job. I think about my daughter. I think about ways to scheme things. I'm a schemer.
But when it comes to
Troy, while I'm doing my while I'm doing my thinking, what is Troy doing? He's drinking. Exactly. He's the drinker. I'm the thinker. Just saying.
You can't. I mean,
no, because
No.
It's not that cut and dry, and you know that.
When there's 2 whiskeys in a glass, and it begins. Who's drinking first and who's thinking first?
That doesn't matter.
That's exactly what matters.
When there's two bottles of whiskey, one's at my house and one's at his house. How long does it last at his house, and how long does it last at mine?
Okay, then he's a thinker drinker, and you're a drinker thinker. Because I'm thinking if Troy is, you could watch Troy when we'll see it on video. When we pour whiskey in a glass,
I know, I
Troy
always have to
hasn't
fucking
taken a
wait on
sip,
it.
and we're already like
I was
moving
finished
on.
my Jack Dale bonded before he put the fucking cap on.
I think that by default he's the thinker then in that case.
No.
No,
He's a drinker thinker, and I'm a thinker drinker.
you think so?
I know so, and you stink.
I'm okay with it. I know my place. I'm okay with that.
Fucking stinker.
I don't need to. I don't need to be anything more than I am.
If this was my basement and I had this collection, I think it might be a little bit different. You know, if I had the sort of, disposable income that I could just.
Oh my God, Troy! Like you don't come over here and drink.
All right, here's a question:
And I'm super grateful.
Would money change it from a? Would you become a thinker to a drinker? We talk about valuations. Would that change it?
No, I think I would drink less if the more I had.
That's what I did.
Because, typically I won't have more than 2 different types of whiskey on hand.
Sure.
At one given time.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
One of them is for drinking, and the other one is on deck.
Oh, I thought you said one for drinking and one's for thinking.
Ding, ding, ding! Yeah. Point proven.
But if I had, a couple of bottles of each of, some of my favorites, and then something nice in the decanter or what have you, I think it would be a completely different ballgame. But again, I don't collect whiskey, and if anything, I mean, I don't even collect wine. But if anything, I collect wine a hell of a lot more than I do whiskey, and you will definitely not, and you have to test this at least, catch me abusing wine. It's not in my nature.
Right. Well, I think it's more of a is it more of a respect
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
I mean, it's that, and it just doesn't,
Do you have a wine that you would just like slug? What is your all-time slugger? Like, what is your Michter's Elijah Craig 4 Roses of wine?
I guess, dude, it wouldn't be an expensive bottle. It'd probably be like fucking Miami Pinot Noir or something.
Yeah.
Like, and I say that bottle specifically because I used to work at a steakhouse in New Jersey, and the owner, we would have staff drinks after pretty much every shift. This guy was nuts, and we would just all hang out at the bar, and he knew I had good taste, and he and I had similar taste, and we would just crush bottles of Miami Pinot Noir, which is
so funny. That's the one that's always. If I ever go to the grocery store, it's always recommended to me.
I know.
You just see Troy in a chef's hat, like pouring them into a saucepan and then putting a pour spout on it.
It's very. I mean, it's got like residual sugar in it. It's really not great, but
It's the drinker of the wine.
time
world.
and place.
Yeah.
I would say that is probably the closest thing I could think of to, drinking a little bit more heavily in terms of wine, but it's not what I choose to do.
Interesting.
The more I collect, I've drank more because of it. But like,
Really?
I don't
Drink a wider variety for sure.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, I don't slug whiskey. I really don't. Like the only time I drink is when like we have like a party on the weekend, or if I have a getaway or a vacation,
I think this is
or this podcast.
Right. I would say it's a perception of the podcast. I think is
Yeah,
We
talk
all
about slugging things.
probably
It's,
drink
yeah.
like twice a week.
Right.
But like if my wife's out of town and me and Troy are chilling,
Yeah.
like I'll bring a bottle over there and we'll probably fucking put a dent in it.
My God,
You know?
couldn't even
But-
imagine.
But we all have no matter what the situation, a lot more respect for the bottles that we're drinking,
Absolutely.
compared to pre-podcast life.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think twice about whatever.
Yeah.
Drinking or mixing or whatever. And now I sit down and think, I'm like, oh, wow, that's
So
it's. I mean, the more you learn, the more you respect. And I think that's why we're kind of doing this, right?
Yeah.
Just to kind of get a handle of what's happening in the whiskey world and what we like. I'm assuming, that's what I started this journey as, is like, I want to find my favorite bottle, or I want to find the whiskeys that I enjoy, or why I like it, and what makes it great, essentially. And that's kind of why I started collecting. So
yeah,
I think we're well on my way here of the journey that we're taking together. I think it's pretty cool.
hell yeah,
It's been fun, boys.
hell yeah, absolutely.
It's been fun.
I just gotta learn how to make a cocktail.
You're getting there.
Yeah,
Working on it.
Why are we all complimenting each other? Fuck you guys.
Yeah, that's right. I hate you.
Matt, you're getting so good at cocktails. Fuck yourself.
there it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, what are we doing next? We've been talking about this fucking glassware episode forever, so we're finally going to do it.
Yeah, we're gonna drink some stuff out of different glasses and see if it tastes any different.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Troy.
Yeah.
Lead us out.
Okay. Yodelay.